So it's Friday night and taking a little shift from wine. Going to do a little review of some pretty highly rated tequilas and just to go through the tequila story for a little bit. So, not really having wine tonight. I have sushi coming, so maybe I open up something. Wouldn't really pair sushi with tequila, although I'm sure you can do whatever you choose. But I wanted to talk a little bit about tequila in general. I think now in the world of I love bourbon, but bourbon's just becoming so astronomically expensive for anything with a age statement, meaning some number of years on it, 8, 10, 12, 15. If you get it to 15 plus 20, the prices are insane. Tequila's not aged as long, but I feel the complexity is just as good, if not better, at the similar price point for sure. So they've gone up in price too. There's some absolutely astronomically priced tequilas. I absolutely do not believe in that Cristalino crap, or they strip out, they age it, and then they strip it out and it becomes white. I don't even know what the hell that's all about. It just seems like nonsense to me. So there are categories for sure. Blanco being unaged, Reposado being aged less than a year, Añejo being aged from 1 to 3 years. And then they added a new category called Extra Añejo, which is 3 plus. Obviously, the longer you're aging your tequila, it's not hitting the market, it's become more expensive, plus barrels are expensive. What they've aged the tequilas in has varied. It's changed a lot. So, tequila was the first alcohol that I became serious about. And in my 20s, before I even was into wine, I liked wine, but I knew nothing about it, or very limited experience and knowledge about it. Tequila was the first category of any alcohol that I did an extensive amount of research on. It became, expert in my little circle. And I wrote an article back in 2004 or 5, I think 4, published in a local New Jersey magazine where there was some very expensive tequilas on there, and people were sort of amazed that it's beyond the world of Cuervo Gold. But now I think everybody knows that there's much better tequila out there. Now I will say that stuff, Casamigos, what's happened with tequila is that they've allowed what they're calling additives, and then tequila started doing this thing where they started putting additive free. It used to be back many years ago when I got into tequila that is it 100% blue agave, or is it mixto, which is 51% blue agave, and then the rest could have been anything, coloring, junk, garbage, which is why Cuervo Gold, Salsa Gold tastes the way it does, pretty harsh, because there's only 51% of a blue agave. The rest could be who knows what. But 100% blue agave used to be the standard. Now it's additive free, because some of these tequilas that I've tasted, Casamigos included, is sweet, like sugary sweet. And that's not the tequila I remember. And then I did some more research recently, and it's this additive free versus not. And if you cook down the tequila, it should cook down to almost nothing, but in a lot of cases, what's left is some byproduct, and most of it is probably some sugar just dumped in, or whatever it may be, caramel. I don't even know. So crazy that they're sort of allowing it, but I guess with the success of things like Casamigos and some other tequila brands, maybe that's why. But all that to say, I'm going to try these 5. So El Tesoro is the tequila that got me into tequila. The bottle looked very different than this. It was what we call El Tesoro Añejo white label, totally different bottle. I actually had one left and I finished it. I don't think I kept it. Probably should have, and when I had it, it was just the Añejo. This is Extra Añejos. This is 3 plus years. And the cost of this has gone up. This is now $120. So this was the tequila that got me into tequila. And I did do a side-by-side, this and a Cuervo Gold somewhere once, and it was obvious. But some people have this very big aversion towards tequila from doing the shot with the salt and the lime and it being sort of gross. But really the way it's supposed to be drank is well, not maybe this glass per se, but sipped like a bourbon, or like a scotch, or a aged rum, something you sip on and not really shoot. So, this glass, that is not the glass I was going to use. That is a champagne flute. I was going to use this one, which is a little wider. So I'll transfer it. So I'll wash that. But and this actually was in a set that I had a tequila. It was called Herencia Historica, which I don't have that bottle anymore. But it was pretty good. The date on this is like 2017. So yeah, what I would expect. It has, when you could smell the agave, that's always a good thing. I think a lot of people that either go añejo aged versus blanco. Some people say the blancos are just more pure expression of the agave, which I understand, but I think there's a sharpness to them. There's more of a citrusy element. I like these oak flavors as long as they're not over oaked. Although there was a tequila I had recently that tasted like caramel. It was just unmistakably just tasted like caramel, and it was delicious. What was the most characteristic of extra age añejo? It was a 6-year or a 5-year. No, who cares? But it tasted delicious. So it's sort of what I remember. It's slight peppery. Agave is absolutely present. The oak's present, but it's never heavy. What I would say about these, and I hate to use the word smooth is, but you put this next to a bourbon, which is higher ABV. These ABVs are typically in the 70s. And this one went up to 80. So this is 80. Looks like they've gone up. They used to be 72-ish. Now it looks like 80 proof. But there's a lengthy finish. You taste agave. You taste oak. I'm not getting vanilla on this one. Some peppery taste. It's good. It's a very good extra añejo. Is it worth 120 bottles? I think so. I think that is a really delicious, very agave forward extra añejo with 3 years under barrel. I'm assuming a lot of it's not probably new oak. It's probably a little bit of used oak. I could kind of tell. So that's El Tesoro's extra añejo. It should be. I only have one glass here. I'm going to try to go with what I believe is going to be big. So this tequila, Cascanes, this is number 7, the añejo. Don't know if they have an extra añejo. This is about $130. This is a pretty hot tequila now in the tequila world of people that really like tequila and know tequila. On this one, I don't know if it matters much. Can't read it, so yeah, they definitely smell different. Much more agave forward on the El Tesoro. This has a little bit more barrel notes. I'd say just comparing these two, the Cascanes is better right now. Now that's been open, so it's got a little bit of oxygen to it. This has just been open. I think you don't decant tequila, but the little bit of oxidation can help it feel less hot. I'm not really comparing. These are both great, but if I just had to pick right now, the Cascanes just tastes a little bit better. Just being truthful. Less pepper. I think I don't love spicy peppery. This has a little bit of a jalapeno thing going with the barrel notes, a little bit of citrus. This is more along the lines of going mandarin peel, a little bit of oak, even a little vanilla, with the agave notes still there, but less spice. So I think it's a preference. If you like your spirit a little spicier, then you go with this. I hate mezcal, so there's not many alcohols I dislike. I dislike mezcal. It is smoky, similar to tequila. I forget what they make it from. Is it a different agave? I don't even remember, but I do not like mezcal at all. I don't like smoky drinks. I like smoky meats. Do not like smoky drinks, cocktails, or alcohols. I just don't. So Cascanes is very good. If I did do these ratings, it'd be like 4 out of 5, 4.5. So next one I got is this is Casa Noble's Marquis de something and Marquis de Casa Noble. So I think this is 1 to 3 some 1 year, one 3 year. I think it's a blend of añejo and extra añejo. I think I have to call it añejo. Okay, this just off that whiff was crazy. Just smelled like caramel compared to these other two. When you do, I don't normally, well, I haven't done this in a while. Oops, there goes the top. A little darker. Yeah, so much more oak presence. Without a doubt. And definitely more muted on the agave, but it's probably because there's, well, El Tesoro's 3+ years. This is much more, this has got a sweeter smell, so like a caramelish butterscotch. And you could taste it. It's there. So totally different stylistically. I think this is, I'm almost positive this is additive free, but it has a sweeter entry. It might be just that it's new oak, maybe new American oak. American oak can impart some vanilla, coconut, and sweetness, and I feel like that's what I'm getting here. I don't know that it's aged in American oak or not, but if I had to venture a guess, that's what I would say. That's good though, but very different stylistically. These are also different, so different. This is actually pretty interesting. Gosh, that's so different. That I could do with like that's a better after dinner drink than these. I think you could drink these with whatever you choose. This is more after dinner drink-esque. Clear the palate a little bit. So next I'm going to open up all the rage, right? Fortaleza. Fortaleza, Fortaleza, Fortaleza. This is like the new holy grail of tequila. I recently tried it at a bar, and the price was good. Very good price. It was a pour was $30. Is this cork gonna break on me here? No. Sometimes when you keep a bottle of alcohol for a very long time, I've had a bunch, the corks just are so brittle because the alcohol is going up. You're not supposed to lay them on their side. It would disintegrate the cork, but it makes the corks in the point there. So I did have this, and I did think, you know, I want to call it overrated. This bottle was now $200, so now we've jumped up. Oh, this is $150, although I've seen it for $100, so I think I got ripped off. This is $200 minimum if you can find it, and very hard to find and highly acclaimed. Like I said, I had it once and I thought it was really good. Oh, what would I rate this? This is tough. I'm gonna give it a 4. Giving it a 4. Okay. See, this has a kind of in between all of this. It's got a good amount of oak smell. It's got the agave smell. It's got a little citrus. I don't smell heat or pepper. I'm smiling because this is actually what I wanted tequila to smell like. It doesn't have a burn on the smell. What's the percent on this? If I can make it out. I don't know that I can. This is also 80 proof. So I think they all went up to 80 proof. Looks like tequila did jump up to equate to most vodkas, gins. Gins actually are typically higher. I mean, that's delicious. It's delicious and agave forward, and yeah, God, I hate that it tastes that good. It just does. I don't know what they're doing, but it tastes that good. I really thought the El Tesoro would be just as good, and I'm wrong. I'm absolutely wrong. No, that is better. That is better. It's, to me, the Cascanas and that are my two favorites. This is right now a 4.5. Actually, it's probably just a 5. It's just a 5. I feel like a cop out, but it's not. It's just the truth. And I'm probably never going to buy another bottle. I might buy one more. I don't know. I've been getting into having a tequila as an after dinner or nightcap type of thing, but I love a nice cocktail too. But wine's more my sweet spot. Hence, hundreds of wine videos versus a tequila video. Meanwhile, this is the spirit that got me started. So, I do love a really well-made margarita though, with reposado. God, this is amazing. So the aroma is insane. The best aroma. and I guess the best taste right now. Gosh. Well, we'll see. I got another one here, and this is in my top 3 of tequilas ever before I had Forteleza. So it's good. It's not heavy. It's got agave. It's just, man, it's good. It's good. I have another tequila in my closet that used to be my number 1. I think in my article that I wrote in 2004, 21 years ago, it was Herradura Selección Suprema, but it was that Nom being the distillery they produce it at, distill it at. It's no longer at that Nom. Herradura is not what it once was. It's kind of like Don Julio back then. In 1942 and Real were phenomenal. They are not the same. They have absolutely sold out. There's just stuff in those tequilas, additives, something. They don't taste the same as they did 20 years ago. It's like Grey Goose. The Grey Goose that originally came out, then got sold for what, 80, I forget the amount of money Grey Goose sold for, some amazing amount. Anyway, I'm not talking about vodka. So this is Tequila Tapatio, and this came from Whiskey Exchange, which was a liquor store in London. And I happened to run across this. This was like I think this is called Tequila Tapatio. I don't know if this is called Excelencia or this is what Excelencia became. I don't know. But this was like the first bottling. I actually happened to find it, told some of my tequila friends, and then they went and bought the rest from this whiskey chain. We did some research. I don't remember the history of it. This is a 1 liter bottle. And this stuff was unfreaking believable. And I think I have another bottle because I bought 2. I don't know what the price was. I want to say the price back then was 150, 160. Now this thing is, I don't even know what it costs. There's a site called Tequila Matchmaker that does a pretty good job at rating tequilas, but I find it a little bit difficult to navigate. I'd like to see how many ratings there are on certain tequilas rather than there's 5 ratings and it gives something a 97 or whatever the number is. But all right, so this smells phenomenal. Dare I say better than a Fortaleza. It actually does smell better than all of them. So there's some vanilla, some cinnamon, some oak, some mandarin peel. No peppers, no spiciness. I'm gonna pop this. I want to do a Altasoro before I end this long ass tequila video. Oh, that's delicious. That's a 5 out of 5 too, without a doubt. That's phenomenal. That has a cognac thing going. That's got to be an extra añejo, if not 5+ years. This has a taste of age, and to me, I love cognac. Very, very old cognac. I know cognac's not really that big, it's great. Cognac is phenomenal, but it's got to have age. Young cognac can be very, very harsh. It's like having a grappa, which is unaged brandy, grape must distilled. It's tough to drink. Cognac is grape spirit aged for a very, very, very long time, and the longer you age it, it does really get better with age. It changes a lot. There's this taste called rancio, but I'm talking about cognac, but this kind of reminds me of cognac more than it does tequila, but I still get some agave. The Fortaleza's got more of agave presence. This has more of a alternative older spirit presence, like a super old aged rum, like a rum agricole or a cognac. This is kind of what this reminds me of. And I know I'm drinking tequila and I'm comparing it to other things, but yeah. And there's agave. I mean, it's there. I just got it on that sip. So the first sip, maybe a little less. This sip, absolutely. And it's got a little bit of a caramelish thing, but not sweet, but it's there. I think it's the barrel notes. I think this one's aged the longest. I'm venturing a guess this has the most time in oak. It does look the brownest. So anyway, unbelievable. Honestly, I did not expect this type of variance for these 5 bottles. I have other tequilas. I used to own something like 70 I don't anymore. Slowly but surely drank through them. It sort of became the first category I really enjoyed and fell in love with, and then I gravitated to other categories. I really fell in love with bourbon, and then bourbon turned into this insane collector's item, astronomical prices, people bourbon hunting. And I used to go hunting for liquor hunting. I called it, not bourbon hunting, I called it liquor hunting, because I was looking for anything that was sort of rare and exquisite and special. And I had a lot of it at one time, but not anymore. Not anymore. I think this tequila is one of them, but it's opened. So, and I have one other bottle, but I believe this is pretty exquisite and difficult to find, I think. Forteleza you can find. It's like finding Pappy. You can find it, you just have to pay for it. Kind of like Forteleza now, but Pappy's prices are stupid. And I've drank many Pappies in my life. Still have a few. Trust me when I tell you, great bourbon, probably one of the best, not nearly worth the cost. Just too crazy. When you're talking about things at that level, it's insane. It's insane. I did a bourbon article. It's actually behind me, and Pappy won. In 2005 is the second article I ever wrote, and I rated it like 9.8, the 20-year Pappy. It was $80 on the shelf. At $80 on the shelf, 20-year bourbon blew everything out of the water as far as liquor. And I used to tell everybody, bourbon's your best bang for your buck, because Scotch at the time, 18-year-old and 25-year-old Scotches were in the hundreds, although now those are in the thousands, well, depending on the brand. And bourbon was still cheap. 15-year-old bourbons were $50. Pappy 15 was $40 or $50. And Pappy Weller 12, which I just bought a bottle for $160, used to be $25. It was my house bourbon pour for $25. Now it's $160. How the world of bourbon has changed. That's fantastic. That's probably my favorite. That is my favorite. But it's a 5. Fortaleza is a 5. Cascana is 4.5. Casa Noble 4. El Tesoro 4. Although I'm going to do one more sip on El Tesoro because I'm a little disappointed. I really remember this having this innate sweetness, but not sweet, but a sensation of sweet, but it's actually very peppery. Now, what's interesting, this is the extra añejo. I had the añejo recently, and I think it's better than this. I don't know why the extra is, to me, less good than the regular, unless they're aging them in different barrels. Now, El Tesoro uses, this is actually, their bottle stop is the Tahona, the stone. They use old techniques, and they crush the agave with a stone called the Tahona, and that's actually their bottle stop, which I think is super cool. And that's sort of what gravitated me. They were traditionalists. They still are. And they have other great tequilas that are beyond extra añejo. They age them in a cognac barrel, Paradiso, which used to be one of my favorites. The first version was. The second time I had it, I don't know if they changed. It just wasn't as good. But it was a 5-year-old aged in cognac, or was it finished in cognac? Whatever it was. There was a cognac essence to the tequila, and it was phenomenal because I do love aged cognac, as I was talking. Okay, a little less pepper now. So maybe a little bit of oxygen got in there. But it doesn't remind me of what I remember. It's got a woodsy, not an oak smell, woodsy smell. Now as I smell vanilla. Wait, that was a tequila. That was water. That's tequila's little bit left with water. It had a woodsy smell. That's crazy. Fooled myself. I don't edit any of these videos, so that is what you're going to get on a video. Okay, it does smell different now. I did pour it. It's not as peppery on the aroma. But now it's not woodsy. That had the woodsy with the water. More citrusy now. Now it's very citrusy. It really is the lightest by a lot of the others. For being aged 3 years, it's got to be second fill, maybe first fill, not first fill, second or third fill type barrels. They're really going for the purity of agave, I think. So if you're a Blanco lover and don't want your añejo influenced by oak, I think this would be your favorite. barring whatever the hell everybody says about Fortaleza or Cascanes or whoever, this I think would be your tequila. Now let me see if it's got that spice on it still. It's blown off a little. Yeah, I'm right about it. It actually tastes different now in a much better way. I think initially when I popped it, it had this spicy green pepper. Now I've had a little bit of tequila now. It's not there though. It's gone. It's much more refined now. It's better. It's better now. That's pretty amazing. So even a little bit of oxygen on a spirit is doing something. Again, you're not decanting this. You want to actually keep as much oxygen out of this as possible. And another thing, when you get to the bottom of a bottle, just finish it. Do not let it sit. When you go to a restaurant or a bar and there's a little bit left of a bottle, that's the bottle you want, don't order it. It's going to be so oxidized. It will actually taste very alcoholic and probably will not be that satisfying. And who knows how long it's been sitting there. If somebody drank from this to this one night and then the next night you got the bottom, that's fine. But you don't know that. So I never order liquor if I see the bottom of a bottle like this, especially if it's something unique. So when I ordered the Fortaleza that night, it was at the neck. Nobody had tried it. It was $30, but $30 for a Fortaleza is not so bad. When Louis the 13th cognac, I think is like $300 for 1 ounce. This was $30 for an ounce and a half. It's just crazy. So thought that was a very good price for this tequila that's $200 a bottle. I wanted to try it, and then I bought it because I believe it is worth it for the quality. I don't know if it's worth it for the cost, but worth having a bottle. Certainly better than having a Weller Special Reserve, which is $750, and it's got no age statement, and it's probably average at best. And don't buy Blanton's. Blanton's was $40 on the shelf. I didn't even like it back then. Now at $250, $300, I don't even know why people are crazy about Blanton's. The best non-age statement bourbon back then was Rock Hill Farms, and now that bourbon's $400, $500. That bourbon was fantastic though. So when you talk about bourbons. When you talk about bourbons, there's something. They're 51% corn minimum. That's the minimum amount that you have to distill for bourbon. The next ingredient matters. Is it rye? Or is it wheat? Pappy is wheat, which is probably why people like the flavor profile better, because it has a sweeter taste, less dry, less spicy. Most other bourbons are rye as the second highest distillate, and then barley and whatever, wheat maybe after. But I think Rock Hill Farms was what we called a wheater back in the day. I hate using that term, but it's true, 20-something years ago. And absolutely Pappy is a wheater. Now, I don't know the percentage of the corn bill. It could be 70 and then 20 corn and 10 rye for Pappy. I don't know. Don't know what they call the mash bill. But that does matter. It matters a lot. And it's 100% corn. It's probably dog shit. There's no balance. It's probably going to taste like crap. Like aged Tito's or something. Tito's is corn vodka, by the way. That's the cheapest GMO ingredient in the United States. And it's flying off the shelves. If you really want great vodka, you should probably be getting something from Poland or Russia, distilled from wheat or potatoes. To me, those vodkas have way more elegance. Now, I'm not a big vodka person, but if I'm having a certain cuisine or two, a chilled vodka works. Try chilled Tito's versus a chilled Chopin, or a chilled Jewel Russia Ultra, or a chilled, I'm trying to think of another high-end, super high-end vodka, and I can't. It will taste different. I tried a chilled Kettle One once, and it was terrible. I don't even know what Kettle One might be wheat, but it's tough. But Tito's is just overly distilled GMO corn. Sorry for you Tito lovers, but that's what it is. And listen, I tried it when it first came out. I believe mixed, it's fine. Mixed vodka, you can mix whatever you want. Whatever you want. But you want to drink it straight, or a heavy hand of vodka, or a martini, stay away from Tito's. I'd say go with another vodka. Something that's a little bit more traditional, made from potato and wheat. Oh, there's the pepper. It's not heavy. Okay, this is, I'm going to bump this to a 4.5. This is really good. It had a spicier taste earlier, but now it's gone. but it actually is really good. It's got the most acidity too of all these. It really is trying to be an aged tequila while still being tequila, and having a lot of agave presence. It's there. It's in your face. It's the most agave present. I don't really want to go through all these again. This is tequila. We're talking. This isn't wine, and I'm not spitting these out. These are way too high end to spit out, and I need to go pick up my sushi. So. Fun stuff though. This is super interesting. I don't think I'm going to do this with other spirits, although I say that now. Could change. I know I still owe a video for my red grapes, and I will be doing that soon. This video is already crossing the 30-minute mark. It was supposed to be a 10-minute video, and it wasn't. But hey, something different. A little nostalgic for me to do a tequila thing like this, a tequila tasting. I haven't done this many different tequilas since I wrote that article 21 years ago. So pretty cool. And it is great to see that tequilas are evolving in a good way. I do like to see that tequilas are, I think West Coast are much bigger than here, but I believe they're in a good space and getting good value for your buck. Really high quality liquor. This actually has stone ground on it. I bet you they're using a Tahona here too at Forteleza. I bet you they're doing things in the ancient way. The person that I think that, well, I don't know anymore. 20-something years ago, I used to know the person that designed this label through the internet, but knew him. And this tequila was nothing, just nothing. Just had hit the market, I think. And now it's probably the most well-known in the tequila world. Casamigos doesn't really count to me. Sorry, Clooney and others. But I had it once. It's not that it's bad. It's that it's sweet. So I don't think I'm drinking tequila. It's kind of odd. It's like taking a red wine and dumping a teaspoon or tablespoon of sugar in it. That's what it felt like. It's like if I took one of these tequilas and dumped a teaspoon of sugar in it, that's what Casamigos is like. Is that really what it should be? The true expression of agave and true expression of tequila? But to each their own. You have to enjoy what you're drinking. And if that's what you enjoy, who am I to tell you otherwise? All right. It's gone on way too long, way too far. Have a good night.